spring, Trev.
I know.
Spring.
Lovely, isn't it?
Spring. I'm out of breath, Trev. That was hard work, that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this spring edition of BeerSwedenTV. Trev, it's been a month, do you know that, since we actually had the last episode? Is it still TV, what we do?
It's still TV.
You sure? What are we doing here, Trev? Whose idea was this?
Well, do you know what? Before we do anything, do you mind? You're all warm, wrapped up, aren't you?
Yeah.
I want to do a little shout out. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, yeah.
Whilst we was away, I went down
Take
to
your time. It's only minus bloody 16.5.
Yeah, but I'm all wrapped up and standing here, mate. You're lying in the snow.
Yeah.
Whilst we was away, so to speak, I went down to Gothenburg to see my daughter because she lives there.
Yeah.
And she took me out for the evening.
Yeah.
Which is good, you know. I mean, I've only brought her up for 20 years, so she can get me a dinner in, can't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
So she took me to a place just off Avenine, and Avenine is the main road in Gothenburg for people who don't know.
Yeah.
It's like all the clubs and stuff.
Been there many times.
Went to a place called the Flying Barrel.
Yes.
A pub just 100 metres off the Avenue. And there's this really good barman there, basically running the show downstairs, called Daniel. Yeah. I had a brilliant night. So if you're in Gothenburg at any time, and they had a really good beer menu and everything, I was drinking bashers.
I hear you had basher.
I know.
The last beer of the evening.
I know.
My spies have been out, and apparently it was...
To be honest, I don't remember drinking the basher. I was told the day after I finished on the basher. But his name was Daniel. He was a really good bloke, so I just want to say hello. The Flying Barrel.
Shout out to them. I'll tell you what, Trev. Does that work if you've got gloves on? If they got a website?
They have. Actually, thank you. I will. I'll put that up.
Right, now anyway, here we go, guys. The reason that we're here today is... Trev, what is the reason we're here today?
Because you're a lunatic.
Yeah, that was it. I wanted to actually, obviously, a couple of days ago, should I say, a few days ago, there was a new release of beers in the Systembolaget, and quite ironically, it was the spring beers that have just come out into the Systembolaget. So I thought what we should do is perhaps come outside in this beautiful spring-like weather and taste these beers, because we have been promising to come outside, haven't we, Trev?
And almost a year, like about 11 months, we was in this very same spot.
Exactly. In fact, can we do a little flashback, Trev?
Yeah, I'll chuck that in, mate.
Can you look back, actually?
So we can do a comparison.
Summer, it wasn't a year ago, was it? It was about 6 months ago, whatever it was. We had a summer edition, and we were standing only a few metres from where we are now. Throw a little bit of that video up so we can see what it's like in the summer. But here we are in the winter. Guys, we're actually doing this beer tasting. This has got to be another first, Trev. We're doing this beer tasting on the frozen sea. This is actually the sea.
This is the Baltic.
Solid. This is the Botnic Bay, isn't it?
Baltic.
Yeah, Baltic. Yeah, the Baltic. Yeah, the Baltic Sea. Frozen solid, as it is up here in the north of Sweden, for about 1 mile, sort of 1.5 kilometres out, past that island there. You can actually walk across the sea. Pretty awesome stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to try very quickly, because if we take any longer than this, my lips are actually going to freeze together, Trev. And you look a little bit sort of like, you know, shaky as well.
Yeah, my goolies are going already.
They're going already. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know when you're trying to taste beer and have those sorts of thoughts in your mind. Great. We're going to try 3 beers. The first one is Voor Wit, which is obviously, as the name would suggest, a Belgium wit beer. Okay, very interesting. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Look, this is the sea, people, that's actually frozen solid. You see that, Trev? It's like a wave that's actually just gone and, you know, frozen in time. Okay, that's the first one. The second one we're going to try is, no, I think we'll go this way. The second one we're going to try is Oppigård Spring Ale. Tried that a few days ago. Pretty good stuff. Looking forward to this one from our friends at Oppigårds, of course. This is a single hop ale. Very interesting. A lot of those coming into the Systembolaget right now. Quite trendy, actually, to brew a single hop ale. And here we have another one from St. Erik's. It's their latest in their St. Erik's range. Their Voor Lager. Which is actually a nice play on words, because Vår means spring in Swedish. It also means hour, so this is like our spring lager. Now this is obviously Jessica Heidrich again has been is responsible for the recipe on this one, and this one is a Simcoe single hop lager. Okay, so we've got 2. We've got Chinook in the Oppigårds, we've got Simcoe in this one. So quite a few interesting flavours there, Trev. How are you feeling? You all right? Are your bits still working, Trev? So we go for it. Now, I'm going to hashtag a glaser. Oh, do not do that. That's actually frozen.
That's like licking a lamppost, you silly sod.
Like that, like Mr. Bean. Okay, let's not do that. Anyway, now we must make sure that we collect all the bits and pieces. We don't want to damage the beautiful environment here. I'm struggling a little bit, people.
Don't want to hurt no seagulls.
No, no seagulls or whales or anything like that. Okay.
No dolphins were harmed in this filming.
No, they weren't. Now, I'm pouring this beer up. Look, it's all frozen solid on the glass. Now then, the first beer. This beer is actually brewed by a guy called Christian Andersen, Skårdal Andersen. He's pretty famous actually in Danish brewing circles. One of the two co-founders of Ølfabrikken back in the day. I think it was in the early 2000s or something like that. Very successful. The brewery sort of got really large, almost exploded in terms of demand, couldn't quite keep up. Was bought out by another company and so on. Not quite the same company it is today. Now Christian's actually done his own thing. He's another flying brewer, okay, phantom brewer, gypsy brewer, whatever you want to call them. But basically he goes around different breweries brewing his own beers. This is one that's actually brewed at Brewdog in Scotland. Did you know that, Trev? Look at the colour of it, lovely sort of honey colour, obviously a little bit cloudy. Why is that? It's a wheat beer. This is a fusion of the two main wheat beer styles. First of all, we've got Germany, obviously with their Hefes, their Hefeweizens, and we've got the Belgium Wit beers, and this is basically a blend of both of those. Now Christian is actually pretty well known for his crazy artwork on his bottles. Now if you look at this one, Trev, can you zoom in on this? Have you got that? Can you see? Doesn't that look like Curious George? Don't you think? It's a little bit odd. Now fortunately, or we say fortunately, but actually this beer was actually named something else in Denmark, and the label for the original bottle was actually a caricature of Tintin crossed with Hitler, because basically Christian wanted to get over the point that this was the best or the most memorable characteristics of Belgium and Germany. Now very controversial, very provocative, but that's pretty much what these guys at Beer Here, by the name, that's the name of the brewery, or Christian's brewery, is called. Now I'm going to smell the beer. And what I'm getting, I am getting stuff actually, even at this temperature. Coriander seeds, of course, they're thrown into the mix. Orange peel is also thrown into the mix. That's the Belgian Wit beer characteristics coming in here. They use malt from Belgium, but the yeast is actually a German Hefe yeast. So there's a real sort of fusion of the two styles here. Orange, bananas there, but actually at quite low levels. There's actually quite a nice spicy kick to it at the end. I can imagine this is, it's not really spring-like beer, to be honest with you, Trev. It's not really spring-like beer to me. I need it to be, it's perfect temperature, may I say. This is the sort of beer you should drink really, really cold. I think the Christian recommends about 6 to 8 degrees. I tell you what, it's got that nice sort of almondy, marzipan, scum banane sorts of characteristics to it. Not probably the most wow Wit beer that I've ever had. I'm going to go, Trev, something like 3.2. Like the artwork though, think the label's pretty cool. Okay, that's that one. Next one, Trev. Been a long time, isn't it, Trev? Where have you been? You've been down in Gothenburg drinking, obviously, by the sounds of it.
I'm regretting coming out of you at all, mate. It's minus 17 when I left home this morning.
Yeah, I know that, but that's the whole point. Look, the sun's coming out now, so it'll warm up. Be about minus 15.
We'll get on with it before we get a proper backlight.
Hang on a sec. I've got to wash my glass out, because you can't have Wit beer with your Oppigårds.
Should have brought more glasses, silly.
Yeah, I know, but you know, this is like the Discovery Channel. Okay, this is raw as it happens. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is Oppigårds, Oppigårds Spring Ale, 4.9% ale, brewed using just Chinook. When I say just, I'm talking about bags and bags and bags of it. A disgustingly large amount of Chinook is used in this. Chinook, of course, is an American hop, which is actually pretty well known for its bittering properties when you add it to beer. Very commonly used as a bittering hop. But Björn down at Oppigårds done what he always does. He's taken his hop and he's dragged every single last little bit out of it, and has actually been able to deliver some amazing aromatics on the beer as well. I mean, who can forget, of course, Amarillo Spring? And actually, even the Spring Ale of last year was pretty damn tasty too. And he's kind of done it again. You've got this amazing mango, apricot, peach sort of punchy American nose to the beer.
Chinook, that's the hop, is it?
Chinook's the hop. Chinook is the hop.
Isn't that a Native American tribe too?
I'm not quite sure, Trev. My Native American history is one of those areas that I'm a little bit sort of vague on. But when it comes to hops, Chinook's one of the big boys, okay? Now, you don't have to remember, even if you're sitting in the snow on the frozen sea, Trev, what have I forgot to do?
Whirl it.
Give it a whirl. Got to give it a whirl.
I've got to have a cough.
Problematico technique, apologia.
See, it's the fags, Trev. You've got to stop smoking. But listen, got this beautiful nose on this beer. He's done it again. There's a little bit of pear and there's a little bit of pear stem. I'm getting a lot of that sort of... You can tell that this is actually going to be hoppy and it's going to be bitter just by the nose. And when you try it, you get exactly that. 4.9%, so it's very light body in terms of alcohol. But there's lots and lots and lots of things going on here. And there's a lovely balanced bitterness. It's not too aggressive. It's quite sophisticated. And it lasts a long, long time. This is beautiful stuff. 4.9, very, very drinkable, in your fridge for the next 2 or 3 months until the real spring arrives, as far as I'm concerned. In terms of ratings, Trev, I'm going 4.1 out of 5. 4.1 out of 5, pretty high. It's hoppy galls.
4.1 out of 5 is all the toes I've got left.
Exactly.
On my left foot.
Yeah. Now, come on. This is it. We're doing it in the name of beer. Okay?
Yeah,
now,
but,
the last beer...
Yeah, but no, but
the last beer... keep going. Because I really have lost all sensation from the waist down, Trev.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lift up this camera and I'm going to walk off.
You can do that in a minute. Let's just do this last beer because otherwise Jessica will get really upset.
Oh,
okay.
If it's Jessica's beer, I'll wait.
It's Jessica as well, that's right. And you like Jessica. She's a great brewer. Now, the last beer that we're going to try... very quickly, is this one, St Eric's Vore, okay, lager, as I said, brewed using just Simcoe. Now, Jessica's approach to hops, a little bit different from Björn's, I would say, or the guys, the team, should I say, down at Oppigårds, tends to get a little bit more astringent bitterness to it. It's not quite as soft as the bitterness, or the hoppy bitterness that I get out of Oppigårds. And when you smell it, again, it's very characteristic rhubarb stems, black currant I'm getting a lot of, but it's a lot more, the smell's a lot more stingy nettles, yeah, really raw, young green ferns and that sort of, you know, that sort of really quite woody sort of smell. It's a woody sort of smell. It's not quite as fresh. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's not quite as fresh as the Oppigårds hop hit. Does that make sense, Trev? Giving it a whirl.
I'm not even listening.
Yeah, have you given up? It's not. Trev's seriously. There's parts of him shutting down as we're speaking. Okay, right. Now on the taste, bang! The hop. It doesn't even wait. The hops come straight in. Of course, Jessica always says that she brews her beers with love and hops, and she's not.
She regards them as her babies.
Basically, there's an enormous amount of Simcoe in this beer, and it doesn't hang around. It just attacks your palate straight from the get-go, and it doesn't really give up or let go of it. I get blackcurrant. It's too cold now, so this is really, really quite sharp, I have to say. But I've tried a little sneak preview before, and I got a lot of blackcurrants when it warms up. So it's really, actually, that's a really nice characteristic of the hop coming through. I have to say, Trev, if I'm going to be super honest with myself, I would like to see something else from the St Eric's range now, because I kind of feel that this flavour, this kind of profile, has kind of, Jessica's done it, and he's done it really well, but I'd like to see something else, personally. Having said that, Vore Lager, yeah, I can see it, you know, very easily drinkable. I say easy drinkable. If you like hoppy bitterness, if you like that real sort of lingering battery, you know, tingle on your tongue, and saltiness almost on the sides of your tongue, if you like that kind of sensation, then this is the beer for you, okay? Personally, I say I'd just like to see another dimension to the beers. I'm thinking, in terms of rating, 3.3, 3.4. We'll go 3.4, Trev. Okay, that's it, Trev. We've done it.
Can we go home now?
I don't think we can. You have to call an ambulance.
Well, I'm not bothered about you. Can I go?
Can we get a skidoo out here immediately? You
Right,
go now, Trev.
I'm off.
You're off. Okay, anyway, thanks very much, everyone. And next time we'll see you indoors for another beer. Until then, cheers and cheers.